Hello, welcome to my channel. In this video I'll be showing you how to make this very simple wallet. It has lots of spaces and pockets for your personal items like your pencils, your pen, your cash, your phone, and your cards. So if you're interested in seeing how I made this wallet, keep watching this video and please give this video a thumbs up as we begin the process. For the external pad, the measurements are shown on the screen, and I've used a double-sided fusible interfacing with extra allowances on the external fabric cut. And for the internal cut, I have used a duck canvas with measurements as shown on the screen. For this zip pocket, the measurement is also shown on the screen. And I have 3 carton cuts with measurements shown on the screen, plus my lower pockets with measurements shown on the screen as well. I have this short zip for my zip pockets, and I have bias strip, glue, the magnetic clips, and also the zip head with my brush. So for the external pad, since it's a double-sided interfacing, I'm just going to use iron to stick it onto the back of my fabric, and we'll leave that to come back to it. So to work with the internal strip now, we're going to start with our zip pocket. So place the zip on one side of it, stitch down that way. When we're done, we'll come to the other side of it and repeat the process, which is what I am doing here. So after stitching, I'm just going to top stitch it by folding over and stitching again on the surface, which is what I've done here, just to give it a neat and clean look. So on the other side, I'll fold over the zip and also stitch across. So now I'm going to open up the zip and also top stitch on the other side of it. Just fold over on the zip side and top stitch with your sewing machine. So now that we're done with that, I've fixed my zip header, and this is what our zip pocket looks like. Be careful at this point not to remove the zip header again. So I'm going to fold into 2 like this. You can fold it anyhow you like. You can fold it such that the zipper is directly on top of the zip pocket, but I like it this way. So I'm going to stitch these 2 sides to close it up. Stitch this way and stitch the other way to close it up. Now that we have this, I'm just going to set aside and work with the rest of the pockets. So for the lower pockets, each of them just fold in about 1/4 of an inch and stitch on the outside very close to the edge. So fold over by 1/4 of an inch, which is what you have left as the allowance for each of them. Fold over and stitch all the way down. So now that we've done that, we're going to arrange them on each other, leaving about 1/2 an inch. But first, fold them into 2 so we can locate the middle point. Then place them on each other, giving a distance of about 1/4 to 1/2 an inch between them. I'm securing with pins so they don't move positions, because I'm going to stitch across the middle, which I have done here. So place now on the lining, that's the duck canvas material we are using for our internal pocket. And now that we have done that, I'm just going to measure about 3/4 inch from that point on the 2 sides. That's the distance between our lower pocket and our zip pocket. Then I'm going to place the zip pocket at that point. So place at that point. You can secure with pin if you want, like I'm doing here, and take to our sewing machine to stitch together. So I'm going to stitch on the sides just like that. Do the same for the zip pocket as well. Now that we have done that, this is what we have. We have our pockets already fixed. And now that we have done that, I'm just going to measure about 3/4 inch from that point on the 2 sides. That's the distance between our lower pocket and our zip pocket. Then I'm going to place the zip pocket at that point. So place at that point. You can secure with pin if you want, like I'm doing here, and take to our sewing machine to stitch together. So I'm going to stitch on the sides just like that. Do the same for the zip pocket as well. And next thing to do is to work with our bias strip. So we'll be using this bias strip to cover all the edges. So you start with one side of the bias strip. You can start from wherever you like. Just start from any point you like. At this point, I started sewing, but I didn't know my camera was not recording. So I'm just going to show you what I've stitched so far. Stitch on one side of the bias strip and leave the other side. We're going to use that later. To stitch the corners, take out your wallet from underneath the needle, then fold to form angle 90 like I've done like this, and then continue stitching. Do the same for all the corners. And complete your sewing at the point where you started. So I'm just going to take off some extra and fold over the starting point. Fold that extra over the starting point and complete the stitches. I'll go back to the external pad like we left it and then work with one of the carton cuts. Apply glue on it and then place on the pad as so. For this part, sometimes I prefer to use foam, like light foam. I didn't get light foam for this tutorial, that's why I didn't use it. So from that point, measure up by 3/4 inches, just like we did for the internal cuts. Do the same, and then from the other side just place like that. So the distance we should have should be about 3/4 inches on all the sides. So apply glue to cover up the fabric against the pad. Ensure that you are holding it firmly on all sides so there are no extra spaces in between. So like I said, I prefer to use the foam because it gives a softer feel and it helps the wallet to close and balance well. But because I couldn't get it, I had to use these fusible interfaces. So if you can get that, I'll show a picture of it so that you can see what I mean. This is a sample image of the foam sheet I mentioned, but try to get something with lesser thickness than this, maybe as much thickness like the one I've used here. It gives your wallet a softer feel and makes it easily bendable compared to using this type of fusible interfacing I have used. Now I'm going to add a bit of fancy to this by decorating with these dazzling bars, and I'm just going to put it close to the edge and cut off. So I'm going to apply some little amount of glue and I'm using my finger so I don't go out of border. So stick that on, ensure that it is firmly placed, and I'm going to secure on the other side as well. So our wallet looks beautiful already. Now I'm going to go ahead to insert the magnetic clip, but first I need to determine the right positioning for it by ensuring that the wallet lays well on all sides. Now I'll try to locate the middle point and determine how close to the edge I want it to be. So I'll mark that point, but still check with my measuring tape that that is the center location where it should be. I'll then go ahead to mark with the magnetic clips. So mark the points where it should be and then use a sharp object to pierce through. Be careful not to cut out of line. Just do it gently. You can use a pair of scissors or any other sharp object you can find. Then close it up on the other side of it. Now that we're through with that, we're going to work with the front and the back of our wallet, that is the external and the internal part of our wallet. So now what I'm going to do is to cover the edges of the internal parts with the bias strip all around, as you can see that I've done here. So as I stitch, I will ensure to do that as I go. So fold over the bias strip over the edge of the duck canvas fabric, which is the internal part of our wallet. So just take your time to do that as you stitch. Be careful as you stitch around the corners. Ensure that you fold the bias over the edges as you stitch along. You can take your time with it. Leave the upper part open because we need to fix the other part of the magnetic clip. Don't stitch that yet. And this is what we have. So I'll go ahead to fix the other part of the magnetic clip so that we can close up that side of the wallet. So fix the magnetic clip to determine the position where that should be. Press it against the side and then you'll have your markings. Use a sharp object to pierce through and be careful while you do that. Close at the back and then we'll close up that open side of it. So same way like we've been doing, fold over that edge and stitch both front and back together. With that, our wallet is ready. So I like to use this lighter to burn off any extra thread on all the seams, both front and back, just to ensure that we have neat stitches all around. So this is what we have. Our wallet is ready and it's so beautiful. So beautiful. We can keep our cash, cards, phone, and everything in it. So like I said, if you can get the foam, it is easier for you to use compared to this padding. The padding is harder. It gives a very hard feel compared to using the foam. That one is easier for you to use. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I hope that you have enjoyed watching this video so far, and I do hope that you try out this tutorial. So if you have enjoyed it or if you have questions, leave your comments below and I'll respond to them. Till I come your way again next time, stay creative. Bye.